condition of women is most wretched and pitiable in the society. The duty of ours is to wipe out the superstition, to remove illiteracy, and to raise their standard of living. They should be given chances to earn their own livelihood. Here I'm not telling anything my own, just I'm trying to remind what Baba has said and what Baba's opinion about the women. In the society, most of the people think that the women are none less than, commodities. It has become trained to treat them, as reproductive machine, and their role in the society limited to the childbearing and household domestic works. The air of modernism is limited only to certain European countries. Still, even in such developed countries, they need to celebrate women's role and raise a voice for their rights, is clearly seen. It's not a day of celebration. It has to be in reality. However, the importance of women participation cannot be limited to mere tokenism on a single day. For this, there is absolute need for change in the mindset of the people. Of course, women have to be empowered as per the need of the present day. Here it says sentimentality, a special quality in women, equality in the psychic spiritual sphere, equal rights for man and woman. Women are known to be a symbol of spirituality, strength, love, sacrifice, and courage. The role of women in today's world is changing significantly. So far as women are concerned, they already have natural habit of paying attention to others, comforts and necessities. Equality in psychic spiritual sphere, the dignity and rightful status of women must be re-established in both collective and individual life. A true human society can only be created when all its members, male and female, young and old, black and white, have equal opportunity to express all their potentialities in the mundane, psychic, and spiritual sphere. The awakening of women will bring about equal rights between the sexes. Nobody will be considered superior or inferior. What will be given utmost importance is keenness of intellect, and the keen intellect will not necessarily be the exclusive quality of man alone or women alone. Whoever will have keen intellect will gain pre-eminence in society. Of course, in this regard, all persons will not be equal. Women's rights, dignity of women. Didi, change the slide, please. Dignity of women. Regarding dignity of women, our master said, Baba said, as the most dignified section of human society, do something for the universal human being. He said so because women are by nature highly spiritual and devotional. That's why they are considered as sanctified portion of the society. And when this sanctified being rendered selfless service to the society, then they become dignified too. So whoever comes in contact with such spiritually elevated beings, their life also gets sanctified. Our Baba said, I expect this little dignified being, dignified section of human society should be more and more and still more dignified by dint of their work, their rendering of more and more selfless service to suffering humanity. The emancipation of women and economic self-reliance. Regarding the emancipation of women, Baba was deeply concerned about the condition of women in the society. He supported the emancipation of women from the domination of dogma and ignorance. According to him, first, women must become educated, and secondly, women must become economically self-reliant. Through proper education and economic independence, the suppressed women will find new opportunities for self-development and in return be able to employ their special qualities for the benefit of all. The reason was that intellectual exploitation of women was executed without any opposition. Obviously, if women remain illiterate, they could easily be exploited in the socio and psycho-economic sphere of life. In the absence of education, women would remain ineffective, exploited by their male counterpart according to their sweet will. We have to understand that if a woman, being illiterate, manages the house so well, then how well an educated woman will handle the society and the country. Women throughout in the history have shared great knowledge and wise thoughts. Their innovation and compassion allow them to be great leaders and inspire the next generation to reach greater heights than ever before. Next slide, Didi. Social transformation. Two wings: social justice of women, building a healthy society. Regarding two wings, Baba is saying there is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for the bird to fly with one wing. Let women be the vanguard of a new revolution, which humanity must achieve for a glorious tomorrow. Social justice for women. Women must not be suppressed, and there should not be domination of male in the society. Society should have cooperative leadership, not a subordinated leadership. but a coordinated cooperative leadership between males and females. If 50% of the population, the ladies, remain downtrodden, how can there be all-round progress of human society? These disparities, these inequalities will have to be rooted out of the society. Building a healthy society. I feel that all women should believe in themselves and in the fact that they are capable of building a healthy society. I think we are more competent and confident in taking up bigger challenges and raising the bar in any field. However, they are not encouraged and are always injected with inferiority complexes that they cannot do so. I feel that hard work and positive attitude always works out. And we must keep on doing our best to achieve the goal. We must always strive to do what makes us distinct from others. It should also be understood that WWD stands for the all-round benefits of the society. Wherever women and girls have an opportunity to develop their potential, and when their role in society is properly recognized and respected, the society will also be able to develop fully and in a harmonious way. Women's development is not for women alone. It forms an integral part of the base for building a real human society. This is, of course, ultimately to the benefit of all. So, my humble request to all my sisters is to develop their potentiality in all strata of life: physical, mental, cultural, social, and spiritual. Often nowadays we hear about, zero size figure or fashion show or ramp walk. This is not what we mean by physically fit. This is a defective thought, which results in one becoming physically weak, leaving them with less immunity and many unwanted health issues. This is pseudo-culture and a kind of psychic exploitation, without most of women even being aware of it. This kind of weak mind can easily fall prey to exploitation of matter-centered society, where corrupt minds consider women merely object of enjoyment, and women unaware of it become victim of such vicious foreplay. Since in this era, the exploiters know very well about the women power. The women have enough quality, positive energy, and dynamism that can change the whole world. They know women are highly sentimental, and through their kindness, they can win the heart of the world. So being scared of their powers, the corrupt mongers manipulated their mind and divert it in the direction of display of their physical external beauty and letting them forget about their internal potential, the spiritual power. In that case, we have to be very smart and understand their strategy and take good care of our health and keeping our mind engaged in a healthy course to help others as much as possible. This is the only way to get away from all kind of psycho-economic exploitation, which is launched by capitalist social structure. They organize fashion show to trap minds of innocent young generations. If our sisters are becoming aware of this kind of exploitation, their shows would be put to an end. There must be social reform. Women has to be educated in a spiritual, cultural, and keep oneself consciously free from such pseudo culture. Hence, empowering women psychologically, economically, socially, and spiritually make them self-reliant and confident has been one of the core agenda of the WWD. So, Baba said, we can implement when our mind will be morally high. And for this, we need our honest and sincere, meditation. If we are morally high, you will have an inner strength. We always feel, if we are morally high, we feel very much strength, very much power. But if we are morally down, we feel weak. Even if you are physically very strong, but mentally, if you are not strong, you can't achieve anything. And for morally high, we have to follow according to Baba, whatever he has told us to do. If we follow everything, if we do everything according to him, we become morally high. Once Baba's discourses I heard, Baba was telling, whenever you feel distance from me, you make yourself moral high. It means, Baba wanted, and, to become a morally high, we have to follow yama and niyama. We have to follow the conduct rules. We have to do meditation. Doing meditation, it always guiding you. So it's a very important, just, I know everybody, we are not that intellectual, do, so much prachar work and this. Even if our routine is according to Baba, automatically Baba get work from us, even we don't have a quality for that. So it is very important to keep our mind high and spiritual is very important, because a spiritual mind is always have a kindness, compassion. You will love everyone. You will not be able to hate anyone, because when you are spiritually high, your mind become like you, Parampurus mind, like a cosmic mind. And then cosmic mind never hate anyone. So the same way, if we do meditation, our mind get broader, we will love whole universe. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much. We have Didi Ananda Kripa who will sing Prabhat Sangha.
Okay, I'm singing the song Prabhat Sangeet 3386. O Lord, everyone cherishes you. The world afloats on by the pool of your attributes, of your song and of your smile. You are mine and I am yours. Everything else is of no value. In my mind, this essence of essence is preserved in each moment. The earth moves around your feet, and for your grace I pray with tears in my eyes.
Thank you, Didi Ananda Kripa. we have Sister Tejasvini, who is going to talk about her experiences of being an LFT. I understand first in Ireland, she was in London, so please go ahead.
Yeah, namaskar everyone. Thank you, Didi. I have been LFT for some time now, a few months, and first I was working in Ireland with Didi Ananda Marga. Namaskar, Didi. Happy to see you here. Happy to hear you. And now I work in London in nursery. This has been an amazing experience for me. I feel that I'm getting to know myself. It feels like meeting a completely new person aside the same body. It really feels great. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity that Baba gave to me, especially because I have so different things I've tried. I've been working in an organic farm. Wow. And I've been doing some construction work there, helping. And I feel incredible about that because it is something I would never try and I would never do in my usual life, I think. And the same thing what I'm doing now, I'm working in a nursery and it is so much out of my comfort zone. And at the same time, it tells me so much about myself, who I am, completely different. Yeah. And I take it as an amazing opportunity. And at the same time, all this time I'm working with DDs and LFTs, acharyas. So it is a constant satsang, a very great spiritual company. And they bring me a great increasing of spiritual development. I can really feel it. When I was getting ready to become an LFT, I thought that, well, everyone says about that, but I'm not sure if I will really experience that. I can say that, yeah, it really does work. So it kind of increased like 10 times maybe. You really go and you work hard. I can say that I'm working harder than any time in my life, and all this time I work for free. So it is a constant offering, constant service, and it really helps to keep this ideation in your mind. So everything you do for Baba. And yeah, it creates a special connection with Baba. Not only work, but just I can feel that every day that I spend as LFT creates some special relationship between me and Supreme. And during this time, it's the first time I started to create my songs for Baba, just singing to him personally. Yeah, so this is even some material result of this increasing feeling. And I'm meeting a lot of unique people, great people, and I have opportunities to study. I have only dreamed about that, but now a few months ago I started to study Bengali language, and I had classes with best kirtan players in the world. I feel I'm Baba's favorite probably, because I never thought that I will get this opportunity, and yeah. And I feel that my self-confidence is increasing by many reasons. Yeah, and it is just a strong feeling in me, probably because I experience so many different things I do. And when I have even no skills, I just go do, and I get support from other people. I get support from Baba. I can feel it, and I really trust myself. and I increasingly trust the universe. And as well, important for me is getting to know more about Ananda Marga, about organization, about philosophy, and creating deep love, deep true feeling towards the teaching and for Baba. Yeah, this is a little bit messy maybe, but very very emotional, my personal experience, what I feel at the moment. Thank you for listening. Namaskar.
Thank you, Tejasvini. It wasn't messy at all. It was very nice. Thank you so much. We have Didi Ananda Manika, SWS. Please, now it's your turn. If you're there, if you're online.
Namaskar. Namaskar, everyone. Can you hear me? Our internet is not very good here. Can you hear me, everyone?
We can't see you.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. So I would like to say thank you for everyone for your participating. And I would like to, announce some upcoming events for WWD. One is coming up LFT training. So it's starting in August 8th to September 8th. So please, I will send you the link and registration. You're welcome to join. There are opportunity for sisters to join for 2 weeks in the beginning as a ideological training. So you can be working as an LPT in your place with Didi and guidance of your local acharya. And I would like to encourage you, all of us, to do something for Baba, even just for 2 hours a week, So there is opportunity for you to join. And second event coming up is our WWD conference online for whole sector in Germany. So please save the date. It's on 16th of September to 18th of September, which will be, the classes will be designed for us to be how we can be physically fit, mentally strong, and spiritually elevated. So what Baba wants us to do something in society, so we have opportunity, how can we develop ourselves? What is my weaknesses? What is my strength? So acknowledging yourself to be and implementing into the field. So this is just 2 upcoming events. Please, you're welcome to join and let your friends know anybody is interested. Please, your registration will be opening soon for WWD conference, and a flyer will be coming out very soon. So thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar, Didi. Thank you very much. As we are talking about future programs, I will take a couple minutes to talk about the upcoming summer conference in Madhukaruna in Germany. And this time we have planned that there would be a day of Ananda Mela, which means, Mela means a festival. It's Baba's created program. And so it's a blissful festival. It will be on the 2nd day of the retreat on the 28th of July. It will be a whole day of music, art, workshops, activities for children and grown-ups. And then hopefully there would be a kirtan band tournament. So in your regions, you can get together, if you're not already doing that, with your Margi fellows and acharyas there, and practice your kirtan tunes. And then we can talk more about it on the 26th, on the 27th when we are there. So it can be a very, very lovely, and we hope it will be joyful and very beautiful day. It's designed so that Margis have time to socialize and get to know each other better, and also use expressive arts to tell their story. Also, here regionally in London region, we are discussing with sisters if we're going to have a sisters retreat, regional retreat, sometime towards the end of the August. So stay tuned, and you can chat with Didi Ananda Prama and the sisters in London. One idea is that we would all open a boat and go to Ireland. So that's something to discuss. Next person here would be Josna, who's going to talk about the supra-aesthetic science of kirtan. And we are so fortunate that she's here with us. And let's hear. Just unmute yourself, Josna.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Namaskar, everyone. Thank you so much, Didi Dhanavata, Ananda Dhanavata, for your very, very beautiful presentation on women, and Didi Kripa for your very devotional Pravat Sangeet. And thank you, Tejaswini, for your personal account. And I look forward to hearing some of those songs that you talked about. And Didi Ananda Marga, I just feel like I'm in such amazing company. So it's really exciting to be here this morning and to share with you something about my passion and the mission that Baba's given me in this lifetime, which is HPMGL work, Hari Pari Mandala Goshta for ladies. And it's all about kirtan today. And it's one of the things that we do every day. It's one of the things that really attracts people to Ananda Marga and helps people to stay very close to Baba. And yet it's one of the things that we very rarely talk about. And so it's been my mission for the last couple of years through the Kirtan Academy to provide a space for people to come and share their kirtans and resources to be able to improve, because there's many of us who love to do kirtan but feel like there's not the opportunities to really go deeply into that. So my presentation is a little bit, in this short time, it's about the supra-aesthetic science of kirtan, something that has taken me really a lifetime to really understand on a deeper level. So here's just a few things that I'm going to cover today. Some significant events, kirtan's benefits, history of Rari Kirtan, kirtan science, kirtan aesthetics. I'm wondering actually if this is the right one. Excuse me for a second. So this is not the right, okay. This is not the right one. That's okay. I don't need to worry about that. Baba always gives us challenges. I'm not going to go into that so much. I want to just talk about some of the, yes. Okay, I'm going to go back. And I'm going to do it off the top of my head. Okay, so one of the things that we need to really look at in our kirtan is ways that we can improve our kirtans. And Baba's given us all the tools that we need to improve our kirtans. He talks about the science, he talks about the deep science of kirtan. And he gives us some hints throughout his writings in especially two books that we have here, which is the book of Samgita and the book of Ra. And when he talks about the science, he often talks about the sound of the drums, for example. He talks about the sound of the coal drum. And he says that it has one quality, which is not perfect, but the one quality that does have, it's extremely sweet sound, and that it draws the mind back to the proper place. So that's interesting. Like in every musical genre we have in the world, there is specific sounds. There are specific instruments that goes with that genre. And for kirtan, as you know, we have, for example, when we hear a jazz drum, we know that it's jazz. Or when we hear an orchestral piece, we know that it's orchestral with the sound of the drums, for example. Similarly with kirtan, when we hear the sound of the coal drum, we know that it's kirtan. And this drum is specifically for kirtan. Of course, there are other drums which can be used, which when there's a sensitive player, that we can use other drums when there's not a coal drum available. But this drum has specific use to kirtan. And I'm talking with Dada Tata Vedananda. He was telling me some years ago that this drum, for example, the high resonance, so the coal drum has a deep side and it has a high side. And he says that for him, the deep side resonates with the Anahat chakra and inspires people to dance. And the top side resonates with the Sahasrara chakra and draws people back into that supreme consciousness. So there's a science behind it. And Ra, this drum has huge significance. It has a lot of stories associated with it. And they see it as this play between Radha and Krishna, that the deep side resonates with Radha and the top side with Krishna. And there's this interplay between them with the drumming on both sides. So it has deep spiritual significance. So Baba talks about the drum specifically. He also talks about Lalita Mamaka. And as we know, Lalita Mamaka was invented by Parvati. And so it's been around a very long time. And he says that it's Lalita Mamaka is something that is a dance that causes the least fatigue. So, and I think Baba says that because in Kirtan, we're not dancing a ballroom dance or these other kinds of dance which are short, for example. Maybe it could be a whole evening, but sometimes it's just a short dance. In Kirtan, we want to be able to dance Kirtan for long periods of time. You know, there's a tradition in Māori as well, where it's called kanikani. It was an ancient tradition of dance, and it was a spiritual dance. And I'm wondering if it was also a kirtan, but they used to perform, it was women who would perform it, and they would perform it through the whole night. And it's had a swaying, a side-to-side movement. And as we know, Baba has talked about the ostrich race, and that being the indigenous people of New Zealand, the Māori and the Aboriginal, for example, as well as the Rari Bengalis. This is all in the Ra book. So anyway, this dance is to for the least amount of fatigue. And when I was a new Magi, we were instructed that we would start dancing, you know, with the first foot on the right hand side behind the left heel on the first strong beat of the bar, on the first beat of the bar. And this coincides with the strum. It coincides with the strum. And in Ra, it coincides with the sound of the cymbals. You know, the cymbals, or the katal as it's called in Ra, play on the first strong beat of the bar. They play on the downbeat of the strum. And in most kirtans, that coincides with Baba, but sometimes it doesn't. It coincides with Nam, for example. And so in the Kirtan Academy, what we do is we go through different kirtans and we work out where is that first strong beat that we know how to dance together. And why is it that Baba, why is it that we would start our dance performance, for example, with the first, on this first strong beat with the right foot behind? Well, you know, from what I understand, over 90% of the world's population are right-handed and right-footed. So it's natural, it falls naturally in that way. There are, of course, many people who are left-handed, but collectively, as this is a collective spiritual practice, it's about the collective. And so we're starting with that foot on the right-hand side behind the left heel on the first strong beat of the bar. That's another thing that really helps to create a relaxed physical sense when we're dancing together, and it is a relaxed way. For me, for example, I find that I can create more of a flow with the kirtan. There's more of a strong collective flow. If, for example, I start and I'm dancing on a syncopated beat, means a beat that's not on the strong beat, I find it harder to remember the chords. I find it harder to think, to really ideate deeply, to be able to bring the kirtan to a different level. These are some of my own personal experiences from doing kirtan for a very long time. That's another aspect of the science. And then there's the aspect of choosing the tunes. So we know that, for example, when I was at LFT training many years ago, there was somebody used to play that song, freight train, going so fast. I don't know if some of you might know that song, but it's a children's song. So they put the Bavan and Kevalan to that song. And every time we would sing that kirtan, I would just laugh. I just burst out laughing because it would, remind me of my childhood, for example. So there's also science, and Baba talks about ragas and raginis and how they're always been invented. And I feel when Baba's talking about that, he's talking about how when we are deeply inspired or when we tune into Parampurusha, we feel we are, as Tejasvini is saying, we start creating our own ragas and raginis. We start creating our own tunes for our own kirtans. And this is part of our spiritual development. Kirtan is a way of developing ourselves creatively. And so many people I know, when they embark on the spiritual path, they feel this incredible creative urge and this creative expression. It comes out in so many ways, through song, through dance, through cooking, so many ways. And this is one of the ways that this current of spirituality comes through us, is through the kirtan and through us creating our own tunes. And those, and Baba talks about kirtan songs as well, kirtan songs that directly connect to the Supreme. So it's not just chanting Bhavan and Kaivalam, but it's also songs that directly reflect the Supreme. And in our tradition, Ananda Marga, we have many people composing kirtan songs as well. And the Vaishnava tradition is very rich, and Baba includes many of those references in his Prabhat Sangeet to the Pada Kirtans, to the Vaishnava tradition. So we have that to draw upon. We have our own devotional songs, which can then be turned into kirtans. We have also Prabhat Sangeet melodies, which are divinely inspired, which come from the Supreme Source. So we can use those kirtan tunes as well, that really connect us deeply into our longing for the Supreme, connect us to our deepest inner selves. So there's the melodies as well. And then there's the ascetic side of kirtan, which is about the ascetic side. And this was really prominent. It was really brought home to me, because when they would perform their kirtan, everyone would, often they'd dress in costume. So they'd have these beautiful rose-colored, gold-coloured or saffron-coloured costumes, or dhotis that the brothers would wear, or saris that the sisters would wear when they're dancing kirtan. That whole asceticism is very important. Also, the way that they lay out the room, the space, the kirtan, the meditation hall with the flowers and the photos of Baba. It's all to do with the aesthetics of kirtan. When you go to a concert, for example, a classical concert, we know we're going to a hall and it's got a certain part, it's got a certain vibration. Similarly, when we're doing kirtan, the aesthetics of the room is very important, the way we dress, just to create this very sentient atmosphere. And that also relates to the music, because one of the things that's most important in kirtan is this word Sangeet. Baba keeps repeating that kirtan is Sangeet. It's not just singing, it's also dance and instrumental music. And we need to encourage ourselves and each other to play an instrument, whether it's guitar or khol drum or cymbals or violin or cello or whatever it is, organ, harmonium, whatever. These really uplift the kirtan. They really do. To have someone playing alongside me who's playing violin, for example, who's playing keyboard, is so inspiring. And to have someone also next to me playing the drum, playing the cymbal, or doing harmonies is very inspiring and uplifts the whole kirtan. It uplifts everybody. So just to encourage everyone to learn an instrument, to play, to bring it along to kirtan. And this will be very inspiring. It's part of the asceticism of kirtan. That's another aspect, the ascetics of kirtan. And of course, the supra aspect, the transformational aspect. Supra means transformational, transcendental. To create that transcendentalism is not easy. It's everything together. It's the ascetics, it's the science of music. It's the whole atmosphere. Baba talks about creating a heavenly atmosphere. And the suprasthetics are to do with one's ideation especially. So when, as kirtan leaders, it's very important that when we enter into the kirtan hall, when we enter the meditation room, that we take our second lesson, as we know, and we really tune into ourselves. There's so many ways that we can do this. We can prepare beforehand. We can prepare a beautiful sequence of kirtans. We can do that a lot upon a theme, for example, kirtans that express a certain theme. Maybe the theme was Women's Day, and so we choose kirtans that maybe connect with that theme. Or maybe the theme is surrender, so we choose kirtans that connect with that theme. There's one way, which is a very methodical way. Then there's the other way, which is very intuitional. Maybe you've been asked to play kirtan 5 minutes before, so you have to think very quickly, what am I going to play? And again, it's very important. One of the things that I find is so important is just to really surrender beforehand, before playing, take that second lesson. I always request Baba, Baba, I go inside, I request Baba, what do you feel? What do you want? What are you feeling right now? And I wait for that answer. Maybe Baba gives it to me and a chord comes to mind, for example, or a tune might come to mind. And sometimes it's not the obvious one. Sometimes it's not the tune that I've been thinking of, but a different tune. And so many times we're actually tuning into that collective mind. We're tuning into that supreme consciousness, and we're doing what it is most vital to be done at that time, the tune that expresses what perhaps is Pampurusha is wanting to be expressed. Because the suprasthetics, excuse me, is about, ascetics is about bringing joy and receiving joy, but suprasthetics is about satisfying the Supreme. It's about being of service to the Supreme. It's about making the Supreme happy and loving the Supreme. Yeah, and so when we're tuning in to bring kirtan to the collective, it's about finding ways that makes the Supreme happy. And whenever we do kirtan, it makes the Supreme happy. But especially if we can connect deeply within ourselves, take a second lesson, maybe do Guru Puja beforehand, request Baba to show us what it is he wants to hear, he wants to feel, and then go ahead with the kirtan. So I just want to, I don't know if I've got how many minutes I've got left, but I wanted to throw it open to any questions that people might have about the kirtan, their own kirtan performance, or about collective kirtan, or about the science of kirtan. If anybody has any questions.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
if I may start, and then you just, who wants to talk, just wave your hand. I have two questions, Josna. When you talk about call drum, is it the same as mridanga, or are they different?
Yes, it is. I believe so. Yes, okay. It's the drum which has the very high side and the very deep side, yes. And it's very prominent in outside of West Bengal. Yes, it's got a clay side.
Okay, very nice. So I've heard.
But you can find that the Hare Krishna makes them also. They make the vegan version. There's a vegan version of the cold drum because traditionally it's made with clay and then it's goat skin.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, nice. Good to know. Then the other, it's not really a question, but when you were talking about why would Baba have given this advice to start with the right toe, the step, maybe it's something to do with the nostrils, because right side crosses over here to the left nostril, and we know that if you can check the nostrils if the right side is good if it's more dominant when you have to digest food or do physical activity, and the left side, if it's dominant, your air goes more freely through the left side, is when you want to do sadhana and spiritual practices. So maybe that's connected. That just came to mind.
Absolutely. And Baba talks about starting with the high portion of the foot, which is the toe, and he talks about stepping lightly on the earth, the spiritual touch.
Yeah,
the spiritual touch. Yeah.
thank you very much of all these points, and I hope people think about these, and the next time when you get together with Margis, with your fellow Margis, you can talk about these things. There are some messages on the chat here, and Didi Toti is saying, thank you, Josna, for the incredible description of the Kirtan atmosphere and how well you prepare us for the coming conferences. Satisfying the Supreme. It's all about making the Supreme happy and loving the Supreme. Then there's Jyoti Didi Ananda Jyoti saying kirtanacademy.com doesn't open. That's something maybe you can personally
yeah, I'll check it out, but it should be working.
Yeah. Anyone else? Wave your hand if you have any questions or any comments.
I'd just like to finish by saying that we have a in-person kirtan retreat. Unfortunately, it's the same time as the LFT training, I believe, but it's August 11th to 15th at Ananda Marga. Everyone welcome, and we'll be going deeply into the superascetic science of kirtan and immersing ourselves in that heavenly atmosphere. So everyone welcome.
Nice. Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
No.
The sister is called Gauri, and she's from Naples. And she has been organizing some social service activities. Okay.
Ok, quindi sto organizzando degli incontri individuali e sono davvero molto felice di questo perché davvero sento che così io sono al servizio della mia comunità, perché quando incontro, diciamo, siamo io e un'altra persona, davvero così le donne hanno modo di raccontarmi la loro vita, le loro esperienze e sento così di poterle aiutare nella loro crescita spirituale.
We cannot hear you, Latika. I'm sorry, we cannot hear you, Latika.
Oh, Gauri, mi senti?
Sì, ti sento, sì.
Scusa, mi sono perso un pezzetto perché la connessione è un po' così. Incontri individuali di?
Io insegno yoga e sono anche counselor e quindi diciamo così riesco ad aiutare quando incontro le persone individualmente. Davvero si può parlare, perché quando si ha davanti tante persone non riesci poi davvero a parlare con nessuno, e invece con gli incontri individuali si riesce davvero a aiutare le persone a crescere spiritualmente.
Ok, e queste persone sono svantaggiate?
Non solo, anche, sì, alcune sì. Io ora sto lavorando, per esempio, sto lavorando con due persone, due ragazze che sono anoressiche.
Translate.
E anche...
Stop.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. It's just the connection is not so good, so I'd missed some pieces. Okay, so Gauri is a counselor. So she's also a yoga teacher. So she's offering individual sessions to women because she feels that individual sessions can be more beneficial. People can feel more relaxed and open to explore their problems and their needs, and she can help them individually that way. Ok, grazie, continua pure.
Ok, allora, un mese fa c'è stato a Napoli un incontro, diciamo, l'onda di Kirtan è passata anche nella mia città e in questa occasione c'è stata la possibilità di incontrare molte sorelle e di fare tante, la Didi ha potuto iniziare tante sorelle. Mi fermo qui.
So about a month ago, the Kirtan wave, Kirtan Parikrama, went through Naples. And on that occasion, she was able to meet many sisters and make many connections with Didi as well. Ananda Ranjana.
Ok, e diciamo che quello che io ho visto in questi anni è che la cosa più difficile è riuscire poi davvero a seguire queste persone. Molte persone negli anni hanno preso la prima lezione e poi non hanno continuato. E proprio per questo che con la Didi abbiamo pensato a settembre subito di rincontrare queste sorelle.
So what they've seen over the years is that the most difficult thing is to keep people involved. So once they get their first lesson, to keep them practicing and to keep them following the path. So with Didi, they have decided that they should have another meeting, another gathering as soon as possible. So in September, they're going to have another event.
E stessa è, diciamo, è una cosa che io organizzavo già prima del Covid, erano degli incontri di Dharma Chakra. Noi una volta a settimana, la domenica, io mettevo a disposizione la mia casa e incontravo tutte le persone che erano state iniziate nella mia città e meditavamo tutti insieme, proprio per aiutare le persone a mantenere una costanza nella meditazione, che è la cosa forse più difficile per le persone che hanno poi una vita piena di 1000 impegni, e quindi questo incontro settimanale li aiutava a mantenere la costanza, la routine della meditazione.
So this is something that Gauri was organizing. Well, she was organizing weekly Dharma Chakra
Ogni
before
domenica.
COVID, every Sunday, because the biggest challenge really is to keep a consistency with the practice. It's so easy to fall out when you don't have Satanga. So that was her main focus before COVID.
Sono un paio d'anni che io organizzo prima di Pasqua 21 giorni di meditazione online, perché ho persone che mi seguono che sono anche in altre città d'Europa, e organizzo 21 giorni di meditazione, meditiamo per 21 minuti per 21 giorni, proprio per aiutare le persone a prendere una routine, no? A iniziare. Quindi ogni mattina alle 6, alle 6 e un quarto ci incontriamo su Zoom, utilizziamo questo strumento che abbiamo imparato a conoscere grazie al Covid, e per aiutare appunto le persone a iniziare, no? Ogni mattina a svegliarsi sempre a quell'ora e meditare, con la speranza che poi questa diventi una routine che loro possono continuare.
Another initiative that Gauri has been setting up is for a few years that before Easter, she does this 21 days of meditation online, so that it's accessible to a wide catchment of people, also not just in Italy, but also abroad in Europe. And it's 21 minutes of meditation for 21 days. And it's specifically designed so that people can keep up with their practice.
Ok, io vi ringrazio, e è stato molto bello sentire anche le altre sorelle e spero di rincontrarvi presto. Grazie, namaskar.
So I thank you, and it's been really beautiful to hear from other sisters too. And so thank you and namaskar.
Grazie tanto. Thank you very much. I don't know how to say it. Thank you very much, Gauri. Thank you. It's an inspiration for many.
Thank you.
Grazie, Gauri.
Thank you.
Next we have Didi Ananda Devapriya, who has prepared a very short video about what Amurtel, Ananda Marga Universal Team Ladies, is doing. I understand that it's about their program, what is happening now at the border of Romania with the Ukrainian refugees. And after that, we would have a short Baba story, and then Kirtan and final words. So let's see, Didi Ananda Harimaya, you have the video.
Yes, please wait a moment. Okay, thank you.
Namaskar, Didi. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you today. I'm
Yes.
sorry I can't be present physically. It will be the middle of the night where I am.
Didi,
Until work in Romania, what we've been doing since the start of the war.
You already recording.
Just one moment, please. I have some difficulty.
This is our work up until
Just wait a moment.
And we began in March, right after the war broke out. So one of the first things we did, we had this wonderful sister with us who had attended in rapid response Amortel training.
Good, Didi, we can see you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you today. I'm sorry I can't be present physically. It will be the middle of the night where I am. But I want to share with you the Amortel work in Romania, what we've been doing since the start of the war with the refugees.
Didi Harimoya, it stopped. We cannot hear her, Didi. We cannot hear. We lost the sound.
It is the highest. The video is recorded like that, and I have put the volume the highest, okay?
We heard her in the beginning, but when you open the slide with the text, we don't hear her anymore.
Okay, let me know if it is okay now. Wait. Yeah.
Namaskar, Didis. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you today. I'm sorry I can't be present physically. It will be the middle of the night where I am. But I want to share with you the Amortel work in Romania, what we've been doing since the start of the war with the refugees from Ukraine. One moment. Okay, so this is our work up until June 2022, and we began in March, right after the war broke out. So one of the first things we did, we had this wonderful sister with us who had attended an rapid response Amortel training many years ago and happened to be in Romania and happened to also be a trained emergency psychologist. She went with Dado and Manchinanda north to the border for assessment, and they ended up staying there because what they observed was that there were many, many people handing out food and goods, but there was almost no psychological support or sensitivity necessarily in the first responders. And so we began with that. And Melinda here is doing art therapy with some children that had come across and were staying in a temporary accommodation in a hotel. And here are some of the drawings that they did, which just show how they'd been really seeing things that you would hope no child would have to experience. Very soon after that, Oscar joined our team. Oscar is a giant stuffed monkey and has been a wonderful bridge to communicate across the language barriers, especially with children, but also even with elderly and adults. Very popular. He's kind of the mascot of the border. And Melinda goes with him everywhere, and he's had his own adventures on Facebook. Here he is, for example, coming across the border and getting his passport stamped. He has even been in one of the main newspapers of Romania. And here he is leading art therapy with children. So a lot of sessions of art therapy have been done. Melinda's treated about 655 patients, well, refugees, that have been coming across the border since the beginning. The other aspect of our work has been to lead sessions on psychological first aid and self-care for all of the first responders and volunteers present at the border. This was done also by Zoom a few times, also for our Ananda Marga communities in Russia and Ukraine, as well as in Siret at the border, and with some associations of Ukrainian psychologists that also were interested. So psychological first aid means making people who are not professionals more sensitive to the psychological needs and how they can be effective in helping to reduce some of those, immediate needs that people have. The other aspect of our work at the border was coordination. When Manchinanda was doing the initial assessments, he saw that there was a lack of proper coordination. There was a lot of duplication of services. And so and just small things that could just be more refugee centered and better organized. And so with his experience, he was able to set up the website right away to help people to have an idea of who is where and what they're doing. And we also set up these coordination meetings, which happen on a weekly basis, in which all of the main actors are present, main stakeholders, and we also make it available by Zoom, and we publish the minutes on our website. And this just has facilitated much smoother coordination and cooperation between all of the stakeholders. We're actually just supporting the government in this. The government's in charge and we are supportive. It's called site management support, actually. Site's a term referring to not just camps, but any place that's helping with refugees. This is our website, siret.help, that you can see on the right-hand side. And this is an example of the video that we put on the front page of the website, which is a tour of the services so that refugees know what to expect before they come, and also for other NGOs to have an idea of how things are organized. Another small project that we've done is to support an informal group of women who set up a logistics operation in Romania. As you know, men cannot come out of Ukraine because of martial law, but these women had been experienced in networking with the mayors and the townships, and so they were able to utilize and leverage that existing network to ensure that relief goods reach exactly the people that are most in need. However, they were not a formal organization, and so there were many people wanting to fund them, even with bigger funds, but they were not able to receive it without having a legal entity. So as they were setting it up, and the bureaucracy takes time, Amortel has been receiving funds towards them and just supporting them with setting up their office, with being able to give some allowance money to volunteers so that they would have more sustainability. Because in the first phase, everybody jumps and does volunteer work, but then people start getting tired and the volunteers start dropping off. And so you need to be able to offer some financial support to them, otherwise they cannot continue and everything falls apart. So this has been something that was, with small amounts of money, I think we've been able to make a big difference to help this operation, which is very noble and run by women, to be successful. And as we've been advocating to all the organizations coming through the border that there was the need for more psychological support, they actually did it. And so Melinda's felt that her presence was more important to actually be in Ukraine. We had done some initial assessment there in Chernivtsi, just across the border, to be able to understand better the situation and how it is before the refugees come into Romania. But she's also returned there, and she's she went all the way up to Kiev and into some of the first villages that were invaded on the Belarus border. And she said that, she's heard many stories, of violence, of rape, of things like this. However, the thing that touched her the most was when they went to one place, and when they'd finished handing out food packets, they announced that there was a psychologist present, and people were lining up. There's just so much raw need for people to cry, to be listened to be understood. And so this is really inspiring for her. And she has been networking with other organizations there of psychologists and offering professional training to the psychologists, and encouraging them to understand what the role of an emergency psychologist is, because it's different than just waiting people to come to your office and to do long-term therapy. But it's also more advanced than just the psychological first aid. So there's been other organizations also promoting PFA or psychological first aid, but she's actually promoting that, to help empower more Ukrainian psychologists to be able to do something similar to what she does. So we're setting up, she's setting up the basis for that type of work. And it's still in an emergency phase in Ukraine. In Romania, on the other hand, it's turning more into the recovery phase. We have secured some bigger grants to do an extension of our work that we started at the border, also in Brașov, in the mountainous area of the country in the center, and in Bucharest itself, where we'll be having a mobile team to go and support refugees who are out in different private housing situations and not coming to the main centers, and so sometimes getting ignored by services. So we have a lot on our plate. There continues to be even more and more work to do. We've been hiring a bigger team. We've almost doubled our size in the past couple months. And but it's satisfying. I feel that we've been making a difference, and it's been quite appreciated by the refugees and by the authorities and everyone. So it wouldn't be possible without all of those of you that supported our crowdfunding efforts. That's been what was able to get us started, to get us rolling, and then that's been what attracted then the further funding. but it's still what's keeping things going for things we haven't yet identified funding for, like for Melinda's work in the Ukraine. And so we really appreciate all of your support and moral support and also involvement. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Can you, thank you so much, Didi Ananda Harimoya, for bringing us this Didi Devapriya's message and beautiful, inspiring work that is happening. And as I understand, she would be giving more. she would be giving a workshop at the Madhukaruna Summer Retreat as well. We have a story by Didi Ananda Udaya. And then, like I said, we have Kirtan and final words, and then we conclude the conference. So Didi Ananda Udaya, please go ahead. Open your microphone. So thank you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I just, Namaskar to everybody. I'm happy to be here with you today. I had a very special experience with Baba, in which it was a very uplifting for women also, because it was a special personal contact I had with the Baba in the 1987 when I finished my Acharya training, and I did complete my training in India. I was first with some Indian trainees, and then it was later decided that Baba called several Didis for Acharya PC. And it was a unique experience because I was with a group of several Didis, around 15 in the beginning. And then Baba asked either geographical questions, and those Didis who were able to answer, they could pass or could not pass. But finally, I was left for whatever reason I could not pass, but I was lucky to see Baba again and again. And in the end, there was only one. Baba called us to Lay Gardens, Tiljala Lay Gardens, and in the end, there was only one Didi and myself left. And because Baba usually doesn't take PC with Didis alone, so I was with that Didi, and then Baba asked very spiritual questions in that particular Acharya examination. And I just told mentally to Baba, I just want to love you more and more. We were studying on top in Tiljala, on top of the roof, and try to learn as much as possible, because Baba could ask from anywhere, anything, and how on earth we could know everything all the time. But I said to Baba mentally, I just want to love you more and more. And then also Baba fulfilled my desire. I could meet him again and again. So it was a sort of a drama, and it was a very blissful drama, because Baba called us again and again. And one time we were sitting in Lake Gardens downstairs at the entrance, and one senior Dada, I think Vichitrananda, passed by and said, oh, you want to have another meeting with Baba? So people were joking almost why we want to have another meeting with Baba, but this was Baba's plan. And it was a very special grace, I can say. Also, in that, I remember in one of those meetings, Baba asked me, usually he asked questions which we could also answer, but still we could not pass. And then he asked me how to strengthen Sahasrara chakra. I also answered correctly. Then also we had to go downstairs to do asanas with this top level Didi who was in charge of our department. And I remember one asana I was not fully able to do completely. And then Baba asked, really, when it was reported to him, really did they do it properly? So it was some sort of a drama which was unfolding. Then he asked about Tratak Yoga, which is actually from Senior Acharya Diary, which we couldn't know at that time, because it's connected to the third lesson when you have this auricular vision. And then I met one, when I was traveling in India once, I met one man, I think he was working for a security company, and he maybe saw that I was a spiritually inclined person, and he told me he could teach me about Tratak Yoga. So, I mean, there's many hints that we have many connections, maybe from India. Also, I feel I was at home when I went to India, and somehow Baba knows who we have been in past life. By his grace, I got quite a few meetings with him, other meetings also, but I can't, that will be part of another story another time. But the unique thing is that in that meeting which we had with Baba said in the end, he asked this Didi the question, why in Ananda Marga we say that women can get the highest realization in this very life. And she could not answer. Her mind went blank. And somehow then Baba said, Baba step by step helped her to find the right answer. And in the end, Baba made with arms extending gesture, sorry. Hari Baba, I never had so much patience with anyone. So I feel also in a way, this is symbolic for my life. I'm not a rocket shooting towards the stars, but I take time to reach where I'm supposed to reach. But the grace is there, and all of us will reach there where Baba wants us to reach. So that assurance is there for every one of us. And I've had also, everyone has their path and their obstacles, and by his grace, we are all overcoming them in the time we are meant to overcome them. Like yesterday, I also had a visitor from America, and she was a very energetic lady and hardly could sit down to do meditation, but somehow, and then I also helped her even with her luggage to the station. So I said, how on earth you can have so much energy, and better you use it in the proper way and don't waste your time. And she said she will come again and do this, work with me and try to learn the meditation. So I say we are here to please him, and he gives us all the energy. We do his work and hopefully also help others to move forward. And I'm very happy to be here today with you together and share this story, and hopefully more stories to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Didi Ananda Udaya. Thank you. Didi Ananda Kripa has agreed to play some kirtan.
Okay. Namaskar. Thank you, Didi, for your inspiration. Baba
Namaskar. Didi Ananda Brahma. How does the sky look like in Ireland?
Namaskar. The sky is typically Irish. I can look through my Dharma chakra room straight up and I can see blue sky and I can see clouds. And a few minutes ago, I could feel the raindrops and hear them on the ceiling. And I just wanted to share, this was so lovely. Thank you to everyone. It was really so special on this Sunday morning. And it did brighten up our day. We're supposed to have 97% rain or something, but it's beautiful. The sun's coming out now. It's wonderful. I think through all the vibration. But I wanted to share a story when I was in India. And we were in Tiljala. And all the sisters and didis, we were standing at the bottom of the steps waiting for Baba because he had gone up the steps for reporting with the dadas. And when Baba walked down the steps, we were all just in awe. And he stopped halfway down the steps. And he looked at it, he said, "What do my little girls have to say?" And one Didi, she yelled, "Baba, we love you." And Baba turned to his PA and gave a little bit of a look and he said, "Tell them I don't love them." He was such a jokester. And then she yelled, "Baba, we still love you." And Baba said, "Yes, you know, you are all great devotees. You are all great bhaktis. But I also want you to be karmis and jnanis." And we all melted. And I think what this is an example of, like we started with Vivekananda Dhanarata, and I loved her story. And when she was saying, you know, if women can run a family, they can run the world. We have certain, you know, Baba gave us a certain propensity, that propensity of love, that Keshak propensity. He's given us certain skills. And then we see throughout this, you know, we see wonderful examples of all the different potentialities everyone has, you know, Baba has given to us. And so when Didi, you see what Didi they're doing in Romania, the relief work and all of that. And then what Didi Monica said, let's all just do something. Let's just do something for Baba. And that's the thing, we have that Jnani Karmi, you know, bhakti speciality. And let's start with, as Joshina says, let's start with that super aesthetic science. You know, let's really get into our kirtan so we get to that bhav, we get to that feeling that we are just one with Parama-Purusha. We are just one, and then we're working for him, and whatever he wants to do with us, he will do. So let's continue all our spiritual practices. Let's meet again, hopefully in Matakaruna, if not there, here for the kirtan retreat, or for the hopefully we'll have a regional retreat the end of August for those sisters who can come and can't go to the wonderful sisters retreat in Matakaruna, which we haven't had a sisters retreat in a while. So let's all continue to meet. Let's all continue to do our spiritual practices, and let's all just try to remember Baba in everything we do, and get to that super aesthetic science, that feeling of oneness, and our potential will be realized to serve humanity, and we see how much we really need to do. So again, thank you to everyone. Namaskar.
Namaskar. This brings us to the end of today's conference. So like Didi was saying, see you in Madhukaruna, see you in retreats, and see you in September. It's in September, the sisters retreat in Madhukaruna. And let's keep in touch. We'll be online, and we'll see when we can gather again online, if not in the same space physically. If there are any quick questions or comments, please go ahead, wave your hand or open your mic. Let's have a look. Any comments or questions from anyone?
Yes, Didi, namaskar. I'm Didi Harimaya. Is that we have the chat in Telegram. It is a very nice way to communicate continuously for those who like to share something. That's all.
In Telegram, it's called the Women's Conference, and I can show you. It has this beautiful logo, the heart with flowers. Are you? Is it only upon invitation, or people can ask to join? Didi Harimaya. Okay, maybe Didi doesn't hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Anybody can join. I will see about the configuration, but anybody that has the link can join, so the same members can invite other sisters also, and we'll configure it that, because we don't know if it is free, who will join us, you know.
There are some messages on the chat. Natalie said, "Thank you, sister. Psychological support is so important. Such an amazing mission." And she continues saying, "Could you write down what Baba said to the Didis here?" Maybe that Didi Ananda Harimaya or Didi Ananda Prama, if she can type it out on the Women's Conference chat on the Telegram. So maybe that's the best place. Any other comments or questions? So nice to see everyone.
This is
Namaskar.
Shall we lock off it, Didi Ananda Prama?
Say again.
This sister Natalie was asking if you please could write down what Baba had said to the Didis. So maybe your story, if you can type it out and send it on the Telegram chat.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Ananda Sanjana is saying namaskar on the chat. And shall we call it a day today? Thank you for everyone being here. Thank you for the Didis, Didi Ananda Dhanabrata, Didi Ananda Manika, everyone who contributed today with your presence and with your talk, with your words.
And Didi Ananda Udaya's Baba story. Thank you, Didi.
So inspiring, so beautiful. Mita is saying thank you all for the good contributions. Ananda Manika is saying namaskar as well. Namaskar everyone on the chat. Namaskar. Take care everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful summer. Take care of your health. Be happy.
Yeah. Namaskar.
See you in Madhukaruna. Namaskar.